attention to the animated cartoon, I'll show you now because I created it using only Canva, including the animations, the music, and even the sound effects. Stay watching because in this step-by-step tutorial, I'll show you how to create your own animated cartoon, which is actually pretty easy to do. Here's something important to mention before we start the project, and it is that I'm going to use a Canva Pro account because a lot of the elements that I'm going to use today are available for Canva Pro users, including the illustrations and the audio tracks. You can achieve something similar with a Canva free account, but I do feel it's going to be limiting and the outcome won't be the same, but feel free to follow the tutorial. Or if you have a Canva free account and want to try a 45-day free trial of Canva Pro for free, there is a link in the description that you can use. We're gonna go to canva.com, open the video section, and then create a new video document. Now that we are inside the editor, we are ready to start writing our story. You can write your own story, but if you want some little help to start with your project, you can ask for help to the AI in Canva. To access this feature, you're gonna click on this button, which is called the Canva Assistant, and then you are going to select Magic Write. If you don't see this option under recommended actions, you can search for it. So you can type Magic Write and select it from here. From here, we are going to ask the AI to help us write the story that then we are going to create as an animated video or an animated cartoon. So I'm gonna type write a short story for kids. It must include one animal and make it into 3 short paragraphs. I'm gonna click on generate. Here's the little story that the AI in Canva generated for us, and it is short, but I want this story to be very short. If not, it's going to take me a lot of time to be able to create this animated cartoon. So in order for us to summarize this story, we are going to use again a magic tool inside Canva. I'm going to delete the first line because we don't need it anymore. We just needed the story. And then by selecting the text box, I'm going back to the Canva Assistant, and from here I'm going to select Summarize Text. Now I'm gonna use this summarized story to work with as base. I'm gonna rewrite it, I'm gonna personalize it, and I'm gonna make sure that this story fits the different scenes that I want to create on this animated cartoon. Now that I have my story ready, I'm gonna break it down into different pages or different scenes, and we're gonna create the static version of these scenes. But stay watching because in the next stage, I'm gonna show you how to animate every single page, and then I'm gonna show you as well how to add transitions. Now let me quickly break down this story into different scenes. Now we're gonna focus on building the first scene, and we're gonna find the elements inside the element section here in the editor. We're gonna start typing for the different elements that we need and then start bringing them to the page. And here's a quick tip: make sure that you add a couple of already animated elements to make your scene more interesting. So first, let's type forest because I want to find something that I can include in the background, so why not forest background? hit enter, and then I'm gonna search under graphics. You can try different options and see which one you like best. So bring one of the elements and then you can right click, set image as background and see if you like it. If you don't like it, you can continue dragging and dropping some other options in this window and see which one works better for your cartoon. Now that I have my background ready, I'm gonna start adding some elements like the rabbit, which is my main character, maybe a couple of flowers, plants, and if I see another element that can look nice on the design, I'm gonna add it. At this stage, when you are trying to find the main character of your cartoon, I do suggest that you spend quite some time to find the right element. Especially, I think it's important to find an element that has different versions of the same cartoon. If you find an illustration that you like, you can click on the three dots again, see more like this, or view collection. And from here you can see if the same illustration, the same character has different variations. You can continue doing the same process. Like for example, I like this one. I'm gonna click on the three dots and then see more like this. I think I'm gonna stay with this character. These different bunnies don't look exactly the same, but they look quite similar. So I think I'm gonna stay with this set of illustrations. I spent some time finding some other elements to add to this scene, like for example this sun, and then I have these plants and these flowers which are already animated. So how do we find these elements at the bottom? If you want to find, for example, this animated flower, go to the search bar and type flower, hit enter, and then we are going to use this filter right here and select animated. Then go to graphics, see all, and you will see a bunch of different animated elements in here. This is the sticker or the animated flower that I included in my cartoon, so simply click on the element, adjust its size, and place it on your cartoon. I'm also going to adjust this text box to make it look more cohesive with the aesthetic of the cartoon. And to do so, you simply select the text box and play around with all the settings that you will see on this white toolbar. I already have the first scene ready and I'm gonna follow the same steps to build the following scenes, which are these ones. And as I told you, I'm gonna use elements with similar aesthetics so the whole story looks cohesive. I am done with the following pages, the following scenes in my cartoon, so let me show you what do we have here. On page number 2, I used a different background and I have added a couple of elements that are going to help me tell the story, like the butterfly. This one is an animated element, and then a spider web. On the third page, I have the same elements but positioned in different places. Page 4, I have a completely different background, same aesthetic but a different landscape. I have the same sun that I used in page 1, and then some other animated elements like this flower, a couple of other animated plants in here hidden in the woods, and also this little splash animation in the water. This is going to help this scene look very magical. And then lastly, we have the same background that we used on page number 1, some animated plants in here, another animated animal, this little mouse, and then the two characters of the story. And to finalize the cartoon, I have this last page that says the end. Once our static scenes are ready, we can start working on the animations. We're gonna focus on one page at a time, so let me start adding animations to the first page, and we are also going to animate every single element at the time. I'm gonna start by animating the sun, and for this one I'm gonna add a new motion effect in Canva. So by selecting the sun or one of your elements, you are going to the animate button on the toolbar and then scroll down. For this sun, I want to add the rotate motion effect because I think it looks perfect on this element. You also have the flicker, animation, pulse, and wiggle. To add the animation, simply click on the motion effect that you like, and to customize the movement you can play around with this slider or with the direction of the movement. I'm gonna leave it as it is. Now I want my bunny to jump around different sections of my scene, and to do this we are going to use a custom animation. Select your main character or one of the elements on your cartoon, go to animate and select this option that says create an animation. Now what we are going to do is to select and drag the element around the canvas to create your animation. So I'm gonna make my bunny jump from here to here to here, and then finally to jump on top of this trunk. Now I'm gonna drag my bunny. After creating the path, you will see a preview of the animation, and if you don't like it, if you are not happy with this animation, you can simply delete the path and create a new one. I think I'm happy with the one that I created, so you can either go with the original movement, you can make it smooth, or you can make your movement steady. I think I'm gonna go for the steady option and then click done. I'm gonna reposition my text box because I want to see my bunny when it's on top of the trunk. So I think the new position of my text is looking perfect, and I believe I don't want to add any more animations to this scene because the elements that we see below are already animated, so this is perfect. Now I would like to check with this guide where the animation of my bunny ends, and I'm gonna leave the guide right there. Then I'm gonna right click on this page and split page. I'm gonna delete the second section of this page, and then I'm going to move on to the following pages. On page number 2, I want to recreate the movement of the butterfly trying to escape the spider web. So I'm gonna add first a wiggle motion effect to the spider web, and why not a pop animation to add an extra movement to it. I'm gonna select only on enter and then preview my animation. Okay, this is looking nice. I want to add an animation to the butterfly as well and to the bunny. For the butterfly, I'm gonna select it and then create an animation, and then I'm gonna recreate this movement of the butterfly trying to escape. She's stuck, so she cannot move too much. It's going to be a chaotic movement. I think this one looks fine. I'm gonna click done. And finally, I'm adding an animation to the bunny to make it look as if it was flowing or slowly getting closer to the butterfly. So selecting the bunny, then animate, and to recreate this effect, I'm gonna go for the breathe effect and then select in. I'm adding similar animations to the following pages, custom movements to the bunny and the butterfly on page number 3. On page 4, I first grouped the boat and the bunny before adding the animations, and then I added a custom animation so we can see the boat flowing from one place to the other. And then I added a wiggle motion to make it more fun. Some extra details on this page are the rotate animation effect on the sun and a custom movement to the rainbow. On the last scene, I added a simple custom animation to the rainbow, the butterfly, and the bunny. And for the end screen, I chose the breathe page animation. Now let me show you how to add transitions in between different scenes. To add a transition effect, get your cursor in between two pages, and from these two little icons that appear, click on the one below. On this window that appears, you can hover on each of the transitions to see how they would look like on your video. They all are quite interesting, so the one you choose, it really depends on personal preference. I'll go for dissolve, and then I'm gonna click on this button below that says apply between all pages. We have now this animation or this transition in between every single scene, but I want my bunny in this particular scene to be running closer to the butterfly, and I can achieve that by selecting another transition called match and move. This will animate identical elements smoothly between pages, so basically the AI will create the missing frames from page 2 to page 3 to make the bunny move from one corner to the other. Now my animated cartoon is almost ready. We just need to add some sound effects to make the experience more immersive and some music to add emotions. Let's go to Elements, scroll down until you see Audio, and then click See All. I would like to add some sound effects of a forest. That's the first thing that comes to mind, so let's try and search for forest to see what do we find in here. I have selected 3 different sound effects. The first one is just an enchanted forest, it says. The second one, because we already see some water in the scene, I decided to go for the creek forest audio track. And lastly, for the last scene, which is the happiest one, I have added another sound effect with a lot of birds. Now we need to find some music. I'm gonna try to search for 3 different songs. One that I'm going to use for the beginning of my story, in which we see the happy and curious bunny. We need a second song with a more tense feeling, in which we see the butterfly that is stuck in the spider web. And the last one needs to be again another happy, light and dreamy song, because we have a happy end to the story. I'm going back to my audio window and I'm gonna click on this label that says happy. If you have different labels, just type happy on the search bar and hit enter. You can hear the different songs in the search result by clicking on the play icon right here, or you can keep searching for different audio songs. You can also play around with the different labels that you will see below the search bar. Here's another tip: when you are playing around with your sound effects and music, you can select any of the audio tracks and then click on audio effects. From here you can add a fade in and fade out effect, so the audio effects and music tracks fade out and fade in as they are coming to an end and beginning. So I play around a lot with all of these tracks, adding fade in and fade out effects, so we have smoother transitions in between scenes. And this is how my timeline looks like. I guess my cartoon is ready to be downloaded, so I'm gonna click on the share button on top of the screen, click download and download again. If you're going to upload this video to your social media accounts, I do suggest that you connect your accounts by clicking on this link before downloading. Once your settings are ready, click download. If you want to see the final version of this animated cartoon, you can go back to the beginning of this tutorial to see the final project right there. Remember that we have a Canva Pro 45-day free trial in the description, but I'm gonna leave it here on the screen as well. And if you are into animations, make sure you watch this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!